Hi, pretty girl. Brianna, do you want this one? Hi, princess. Baby? Brianna. Hi, princess. Hi, little face. How are you today? Baby?
Hello everyone,
Hey, Brianna.
happy Thursday and welcome to another live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. It is in the throes of our Food and Wellness Center fundraiser. I'm joined by caretaking manager Teresa and Bobcat Brianna, who's enjoying her meal today. Good afternoon everyone, thanks for joining. Hey there Wendy B, Kendra Ditto, howdy howdy. That indeed is Bobcat Brianna. Bobcat Brianna is one of our 100 plus rescued wildcats we call the Wildcat Sanctuary, their forever home. Miss Brianna unfortunately was kept in a person's backyard along with a pair of other bobcats to be raised and eventually killed and pelted for her fur. And it wasn't until Miss Brianna arrived to the Wildcat Sanctuary that she was actually able to feel grass under her paws for the first time. She lived in a raised crate in which she was not actually able to touch the ground. And man, what a contrast into what Miss Brianna's kind of meaning was just to be killed and pelted out and profited off of. And now she's living a compassionate life here at the Wildcat Sanctuary and obviously benefits from your guys' support in so many different ways. And one of those, of course, being her diet and medication. And we're going to talk obviously a little bit about that today. We're going to get the scoop from Teresa and talk a little bit about the remodel that's going to be coming to the prep room and the remodel that you guys are helping us with. And Mr. Shrek is next. We're going to go and feed Shrek. And then Teresa, busy, is going to get back to her caretaking, managing obligations, and then I'm going to cruise around Wildcat Pines and visit with more of our rescued residents. So good afternoon, Patricia A. I see Daria's here offering some virtual hugs to Teresa. That is so nice, Daria. Hi, Iona. Hi, Tanya Toner. Thanks for those 50 stars, Torben. Lori, he's saying, oh, happy little Brianna. That is right. Happy indeed. And Brianna is one of those cats where, you know, we've really kind of done exactly what we do best here at the Wildcat Sanctuary is listen to the cat. And Miss Brianna, we know, formerly lived with Bobcat Stelter. Those two were rescued from that fur farm together. And it would have been 2 years ago we lost Mr. Stelter, and Brianna, we had tried some merges with her, but she was just letting us know that, hey, I kind of prefer my independence. I prefer my own space. You know, it's nice that you guys are offering me companionship, but hey, I kind of like living on my own. But to that point, Miss Brianna, as well as Mr. Shrek, we're maybe hoping that we can try these two together. That's in some of our future plans for these two. But exciting nonetheless, and cool to acknowledge as well as just many examples of how we take the tree and not the forest here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We're always looking at the individual cat. Awesome stuff, Teresa. And so Brianna just finished her meal, and so I know a lot of kind of what we have been talking about with this Food and Wellness Center fundraiser is the food. But another important aspect of it is you guys are obviously preparing these 100 plus individual meals a day, but some of these meals have medications and supplements in them too. So for example, did Brianna have any medications or supplements today?
Yeah, Brianna gets medicine once a day. So she gets gabapentin once a day for nerves and for a little bit of pain. So that goes right into her meal, right in one of the little pieces in her meal. And we put it in the meat just so that she doesn't even have to taste it. And it just is nice and easy for her to eat.
And just off the top of your head, Teresa, how many of our rescues are on some type of medication or supplement?
Oh my goodness.
And I know people have seen the boards, they've
Yeah.
seen our containers where we store the medications, and just kind of give an idea as to how many of the cats are on some type of supplement or medication.
I would say over half, or maybe 60 to 65% of the cats are on meds, or supplements. So.
And it's exciting to think about the space in which that you guys are doing this is going to be getting bigger.
I know, it's so exciting.
And, you know, out of all the things that we've kind of highlighted about the new Food and Wellness Center, the electronic boards, the obviously the kitchen grade sinks, the new storage for our Richmond program, what's kind of got you most excited, Teresa, as a caretaker who's in there every single day?
Oh my goodness. Really, the new setup of it all, so that it can be more time efficient to get everything done, and the space, so that each person has space to prepare everything correctly, because it's a lot of time and it's a lot of work that goes into everything, and having to work right on top of each other can be tricky sometimes. So we need the adequate space, and a better sink to be able to wash all of the dishes, and, you know, better storage to supply or to store all of the cat food and all of the linens and the towels, and making sure that all of the cleaners are separate from the towels or from the cat treats. You know, I think there's all these little tiny things that I'm so excited for, and
it all kind of, you know, it all kind of comes together and accumulates, and it's making you guys more efficient, which means you're going to be able to focus on the care of the cats and do what you guys do best. So awesome. I'm glad we got a little bit of a debrief. I know it's, you know, you get to hear me talk about it. I have, you know, only spent so much time in the prep room. It's the caretakers and animal care interns who are busting their butts in there every single day. I even made a post poking a little fun about how wet they get sometimes with when they're washing dishes. We posted a photo of Dash today. So I can only imagine that's another aspect they're looking forward to, is not getting so wet now that we're going to have two sinks, can spread out those dishes, and make sure that we are crossing our T's and dotting our I's for every single one of our cats. Isn't that right, Miss Brianna?
Brianna.
Well, I think Shrek is waiting for a treat, so we can head over to Mr. Shrek. Two Bobcats here, Bobcat Miss Brianna, and then we're heading over to Shrek. And Shrek, as I was mentioning, is a candidate to be a future companion of Brianna. That's one thing Teresa and her caretaking staff has, here comes Mr. Shrek, has in the cards, is potential companionship with these two. And we know Shrek came from a private owner on the West Coast. That would have been, there you go, Mr. Shrek. That would have been in January that caretaker Rio and I embarked on a cross-country journey to get him back here to his forever home. And it was cool to hear that live post from Tammy last week about how we've been working with Mr. Shrek to get him comfortable to an indoor space. Shrek, when he, during his former life of private ownership, he only lived in an outdoor space. And also, as you can see, Shrek is getting a little excited over his food. That's certainly, you know, to be expected. A lot of these cats take food very seriously.
Shrek does in particular.
Shrek in particular, as you can see.
He says, hurry it up.
And that's that little kind of hopping back and forth is just some, you know, kind of anticipatory pacing and excitement, and nothing that's out of the ordinary when a predator like Shrek gets a piece of food in front of him.
Thank you, Shrek.
Yes, what do you think, mister? Yes, sirree. He says, I could eat my weight in food and more.
Yeah.
Yes, sirree. Well, thank you, Teresa. I really appreciate you taking some time and giving us some of your insight so everyone can hear and truly understand how important and special this fundraiser is for not only the cats, but the staff that are involved as well.
Yeah, thank you, Judson, and thank you, everyone at home.
Of course, of course. Well,
yeah, and thank you, Shrek.
Well, and of course, Mr. Shrek, thank you. He says, grumble, 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 that's my welcome. Bye, Teresa.
Bye, Judson.
All right, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with Brianna and Teresa, of course, and Mr. Shrek. We're going to keep the party going and kind of cruise around Wildcat Pines here. I certainly have a lot of comments to catch up on. So I'm going to see if I can zero in on, I see Glenn and Sarge hanging up on top of their skywalk here. And a big yawn from Bobcat Sarge. I'm scrolling back up the comments and welcome everybody. Happy Thursday. Oh, thank you, Sarge. Thank you for those grooms, says Glenn. That's Bobcat Glenn being groomed by best friend forever, Bobcat Sarge. That's right, Lori. Shrek is eager and definitely is something that's very much commonplace, is seeing kind of that prey drive, that switch be turned on with any of the cats here at TWS, from the Bobcats to the Servals, all the way up to the lions and tigers. Oftentimes, I'm sure you guys find that when we do feeding posts like this, you'll hear Judson taking time to give reminders as to just how important it is to respect these cats for what they are, predators. And when a piece of food is entered into the equation, that's when you really get a good look as to what these animals really are. And that's why we love them. Kathy Barton, can't you just let the cats lick the plates clean? Now that would make life a lot easier for us now, wouldn't it, as opposed to washing the dishes. And so another thing I wanted to point out is obviously today, and it would have been 2 days ago, we saw Tammy and I both feeding two different cats. We were with the Bobcats today. We were with the cheetahs 2 days ago. I can't see you that well. I thought I was going to see Miss Morgan. But you would have seen the tong feedings. But the tong feedings aren't the only way that we like feeding our cats their daily meals. So for example, yesterday we saw the barrel feeder being used for Tiger Dash. We're also going to do companion feeding. We're going to be meeting the cats outside with dedicated caretakers if there's multiple cats in one habitat. And that's where we're just going to be feeding the diet outside and just bringing the cat into a different setting. And then obviously the traditional lockout feeding and scatter feeding, if I hadn't mentioned that already. There goes Morgan, settling in for a nice little afternoon nap. Patricia A says, love seeing the tong feeding. Definitely can be easiest, for a live post. I'll admit, I think forage feeding is probably one of my favorite kind of means in which the cats get to feed. Another one that we often do is we'll do a kind of a larger style feeding, and food shoots that are a part of the Food and Wellness Center fundraiser are going to make this much easier. Is we'll actually do carcass feeds. So we'll have maybe a quarter of a cow or something like that, and we'll actually be able to place that whole kind of partial carcass in the habitat for the cat. Obviously, that type of graphic content does not fly too far on social media, and we know that a lot of you may not be meat eaters, vegetarians and vegans, things like that. So typically that type of stuff does not see the light of day on social media, but it most definitely is one of the ways that we're incorporating feeding the cats. Oh, look at the little blue jay. That's one thing about us here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, is that we like all forms of nature. And that's also one of the special things about TWS, is that we're sitting on about a little over 40 acres, but only a certain amount of that acreage has been developed, and we're preserving the remaining amount to do exactly that, to preserve the native wildlife and habitat that's around the sanctuary. And here's Mr. Belvedere flattening out on top of his skywalk. Lauren Elizabeth Lynn says, I love the shoot idea of feeding them large pieces. We agree, Lauren. I think that's an awesome idea, and is something that's going to just kind of one of the many valuable aspects of the Food and Wellness Center fundraiser. Very exciting. Ginger, that's a nice comment. Saying hi to the caretakers, interns, and cats. Thank you for the live walkabout. Love seeing all the beautiful cats and feeding. Well, thank you for that, Ginger. And it's moments like that where I kind of turn right back around and thank you all, our supporters, for making it all possible. You guys are the reason that I'm here. You're the reason that all of these rescued cats have these incredible stories and live such a peaceful and compassionate life. So I'm honored to be out here and sharing their stories with you all, because you're the ones who truly make it all happen. Brianna and Enzo. See, oh, I see Miss, or not Brianna and Enzo, Athena and Enzo. I see Athena catching some rays on the other side here. First, I know you guys always enjoy this. I need to zoom in on the bobcat toe beans. Looks like she's even got a little leaf or something stuck on one of her toe beans. Maria P is asking, do you give bird feeders up and around the cats? I think that's what you're asking. And that is correct. We definitely put out bird feeders. Unfortunately, obviously, with the avian influenza outbreak that was happening earlier this spring, we did kind of go by some of our kind of local and state advisements and take down the bird feeders. But most definitely that is a very common type of enrichment that we use. I think on certain summers you would just walk around in Hybrid Haven and you would see those little bird feeders and all types of birds zooming around, and obviously very watchful hybrid eyes watching those birds. Benny used to have a bird feeder right outside of his space in the Welcome Center that was really excellent for him. Well, I'm trying to keep up with Bobcat Athena, and I am not quick enough. And obviously too, it's just kind of one thing just to keep in your mind is just imagining that every single cat that we see on our sanctuary strolls here every single day, they're just kind of like we've been trying to hit home. Their diets are different from one another. Their medications and supplements are different from one another. And every single one of those dishes are prepped every single day here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. It's going to be about 5 people coming in at the crack of dawn every morning for their prep shift. And it's going to take them about 4 hours to prep a little under 400 pounds of food. And that includes, like I mentioned, getting those individual medications and supplements administered to each one of those bowls. And it is really a bear and a lot to do and a big responsibility, which is why, like we heard Teresa talk about, we're looking forward to helping make things more efficient, more sanitary, and obviously just a more productive space so we can better serve the cats. I'm trolling around Ava and the Peppers here. And as you can see, that grass can get pretty tall. There obviously is those little alleyways that we talk about kind of mowed into everything. But the peppers are really great at finding a tall patch of grass and crashing out. So I'm gonna see if I can find anyone. But it's been a little quiet in Wildcat Pine, so maybe we'll hop over to Small Cat Track 2. Catch up on some comments too. Thank you everyone for the comments. We gotta have the toe beans now, don't we? Fluffy bobcat belly hair blowing in the breeze. Might be hard to see, but I think I've located someone. See if the phone can pick it up. I see an ear and then a back of 2 different cats, so I can only imagine. Belle and Ava are usually pretty attached at the hip, so I'm gonna take a a wild but educated guess and say that that's Belle and Ava. Glad we got to see those two briefly. Alice Watkins is asking, hi, I was wondering how long it will take the kitchen to be finished. So that we're hoping, obviously with kind of the supply chain, with what it's been doing the past couple months, we're hoping to get our ducks in a row and have this fundraiser concluded by the end of the month of June, and actually start building by the end of July for it to be completed this fall. So the timeline is pretty tight, which is pretty good. We want this new addition, or transformation, I should say, of the prep room to happen, and is definitely something that's going to be useful for it to be happening as soon as possible. And we're glad, Sky and Selene, that we've already set ourselves up for that. What are you talking? Are you talking? That was a very vocal Sky and Selene. I don't have a microphone today, so I apologize, everyone, if it's been a little bit windy. And Alice Watkins, you asked that comment and sent 200 stars. Thank you for the 200 stars as well, and we appreciate your question too. Tanya Toner loves all the unusual and different cat names for each cat. It's definitely something that made an impression on me, is how unique the names are here at TWS. Oh, and thank you, Alice Watkins, for the stars as well. 500 stars. Nancy Hodel saying it's a gorgeous day. It really is. It really is a gorgeous day. Nice breeze, mild temps, only kind of getting into the high 70s today. You can see the grass has been growing like crazy. Sky and Selene are even maybe enjoying some kind of scents that were in their grass, or maybe left over from it being cut. And thanks for helping answering that question as well, Alan Simmons. Well, excuse me, Miss Selene. Or that's Sky. I just called you Selene. So Sky is kind of being a little chatty with Aria. Everybody's chatting. I need to speak Bobcat. I need the Bobcat Rosetta Stone, because you guys sure have a lot to say and I don't know how to decipher it. Well, that's fun. Bobcats are known to purr. Bobcats are chirpers, which we're kind of hearing as well. And they'll growl, but bobcats are and they can hiss too, obviously, but bobcats are not able to roar. That's an interesting, I think that's kind of how I look sometimes when I'm drinking out of my water bottle. Just straddling it like that. Get all the way down here. I'm missing a lot of comments. Sorry about that, everyone. Chirps and chatter. That's right, Kindred Ditto. I'm glad we're able to hear that. Nadia, okay, good. That's the first time I hear them vocalizing so clearly. I mean, I think I can kind of stand by you with this. As I've never heard such consistent vocalizations from her. Very chatty girl, says Faith Warner. I agree. Cute chirp, says Nancy Hodel. Daniel saying bobcats make the sweetest noises. Certainly unique. Admittedly, maybe a little kind of alien-like. Fun. Aria, what are you doing? Are you keeping an eye on caretakers who are coming out of the prep room? She says, I'm keeping an eye on them, and soon I'll be keeping an eye on the transformation that we're going to be making. Thanks to everyone's support. And we're just going to pop over to small cat track quickly. I know we've been live for a little bit, but see if we can visit some more cats. I've been kind of bad at getting through the comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. And always, you guys know how much I appreciate when you let me know that you've contributed to one of our fundraisers. Not only if it's one of a $100 gift or more, because you're going to be receiving a key 2 paw print, but any type of gift, because myself, the interns, the staff, Tammy, Kelly, Gina, everyone, we're just so appreciative of your guys' support. And I love acknowledging it and making sure that I can give you, I don't have a mountaintop to shout my praise on, but I do have a cell phone and a live post where I can shout my praise, and I certainly would appreciate if you let me do that. Cruising around for Serval Bruno. I've made some comments about how Bruno is he's a very sneaky serval, one of the more sneaky servals that I've ever encountered here at TWS. Just gonna see if we can maybe catch him. He's usually hanging out in that little area over here, but he says, well, you've given me this awesome indoor bedroom with toys and a hammock and a caranda bed. Well, I'm going to use it if I want to. And it looks like that's what Mr. Bruno's doing. I got my head on a swivel, and he must be hanging out inside. Krista Christensen, I wish we knew what they were saying. I agree with that. That was Sky and Selene being very chatty. Walking and looking at comments. Maybe I was also hoping that Bobcat Nico or Rio is outside, but they certainly do have plenty of shade spots. But both of those guys are senior or geriatric cats, so smart of them to be spending a little indoor time if they need it. We'll sneak around the corner and maybe we can catch Aurora. Otherwise, I think we'll have to call that a live post for the day. But nonetheless, you guys know that tomorrow would be the last day that we would be doing our TWS live post at the 2 p.m. Central Time. Starting next week, next Monday and onward, we will be doing our live post at 11 a.m. Central Time. So definitely be sure to mark your calendars or change the alarms or notifications on your phone for next week. I'm sure we'll post over the weekend as well, just to give everybody a reminder. And here's Caracal Aurora's yard, and just how I've been describing to Molly and Jamie is that even though we're certainly going through and making alleyways and really kind of mowing the perimeters of the habitats and ways through it, you really got to slow down and look for the cat, and kind of keeping my eyes peeled for Aurora. And I can only imagine maybe she's in a bed of grass somewhere where I can't see her, but most importantly, right where she wants to be. Which is just one of the many benefits of the types of habitats that we're able to afford our cats with your support. What do you think, Miss Sophia? I'm gonna sit right down here and see if Tigger will come up while I sign off and say goodbye to everybody. Tigger's also hanging out inside. Seems like everybody has other priorities than to be featured on a live post. I'm sure I can go and say goodbye to everyone while enjoying Hilo and Sebastian's company. And maybe catch up on a few comments too while I'm in here. Sebastian, out of all the kitties, I know I've got a friend in you, mister. And along with your companion, Mr. Hilo, you've been seeing Bobcats, Wildcats, who are a part of our rescued family here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, but obviously we're home to hybrid Wildcats as well. There's Mr. Sebastian, who's a Bengal, and then we have Mr. Hilo, who is a Savannah, a cross between a Serval and a domestic cat. Hey there, goofball. Yeah. But I wanted these two boys to be the backdrop while I catch up on some comments, and thank you guys for helping launch the Food and Wellness Center fundraiser this week, and really just convey how appreciative we are of your support and how excited we are for this change. We got to hear it from Teresa, and I can only imagine the looks on everyone's faces when we're going to be sharing the new building with everyone, and we can see how efficient they are. We can see how productive they've become with the modifications that Tammy and the caretaking staff have took into consideration. I'm looking forward to it, Mr. Sebastian. I'm getting swamped right now, aren't I? Yeah. But thank you everyone for hanging out today and spending time with Teresa and Brianna and Shrek. We got to see Glenn and Sarge. We got to see a lot of kiddos today. So glad we got to visit with those rescues and obviously talk about the Food and Wellness Center and really just give you guys the scope for how much your support does for our rescues, Mr. Sebastian. Ellen Simmons, another pair of BFFs. I love that. And speaking of which, a little plug, the interns, Molly and Jamie, actually just finished making a TikTok on the single ladies here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I know a very common question is the merging process here at TWS, but what about those cats that don't want to live with anyone? Well, Molly and Jamie answered that question and more on a TikTok, so you can go and check that out. The handle's just at Wildcat Sanctuary. Cool, Mr. Sebastian, with those pretty eyes. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. Mr. Hilo, any special words to share with the folks? He says, nothing from me. All right, all. Have an excellent rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary tomorrow.